All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin this lesson by giving all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and the proper names in the Paleo-Hebrew tongue. I want to say, Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahushai, Ba Hashem Rakakadash Ma'amoth. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world eagerly and willingly call God or Jehovah. Ba Hashem meaning in the name of. Yahushai meaning He who delivers, whom the world eagerly and willingly call JC today. I want to give a double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and another double honor to my elder as well, Ahara One bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect, pushing His truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bashim Shah, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson put together through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Shah, and I pray that it be edifying. So this lesson is going to have a few topics, but the main focus on this lesson is going to be about the fact that Yahweh Shema Shah chooses a man, and when He chooses a man, it's not according to the liking of man, but the will of Yahweh Shema Shah. And this lesson was inspired by reading Judges and just basically hearing the story of Jephthah. And the Lord basically had me read that story at the perfect time, basically having an altercation at work. Not really an altercation, but one day He put me in a situation to where I was helping somebody control themselves and learn how to speak to people, because my brothers do that same thing for me. Help me understand that the mannerisms, the fluctuation of tone of speech, the visual anger on your face when speaking, having a form of expressing yourself in this manner, wait until things build up to, and then you explode. It can have people view you in a certain manner. So I basically saw myself in someone, and I was able to basically give them the same advice that, the brothers of the Lions Den Camp, gave me plenty of times. And that happened one day, and then the next day, as soon as I got around certain people, it happened to me. And as it happened to me, when you're in those situations, you're thinking about everything that you can say. You're thinking about everything that you can say in those moments, how you can be disrespectful, or how you can be spiritual. So sometimes you just gotta wait for your opportunity to speak, and apply Proverbs chapter 15. So right, but the whole situation was about the simple fact that the people of this life, they don't approve of the man that Yahweh Shema Shah chose to do this work, and the message that those men carry. You see what I'm saying? Because ultimately they didn't approve of Yahweh Shah Himself. So it gets to a point to where it doesn't matter about what you like. It's all about the will of Yahweh Shema Shah. So right, I'm starting from the book of Judges, chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, Now Jephthah the Gileadite was a mighty man of valor, and he was the son of an harlot. And Gilead begat Jephthah, and Gilead's wife bare him sons, and his wife's sons grew up. And they thrust out Jephthah and said unto Salakia. And they thrust out Jephthah and said unto him, Thou shalt not inherit our father's house, for thou art the son of a strange woman. Then Jephthah fled from his brethren and dwelt in the land of Tob. And there was gathered vain man to Jephthah, and went out with him. And it came to pass in the process of time that the children of Ammon made war against Israel. And it was so that when the children of Ammon made war against Israel, the elders of Gilead went to fetch Jephthah out of the land of Tob. And they said unto Jephthah, Come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. Hold on, let me make sure. Had to make sure the sound was on. So, all right. So basically, Jephthah was basically his brothers didn't want him to take part of the inheritance of his father's house, basically because his mother was an harlot. His mother was a strange woman. It says, verse 6 again, and they said unto Jephthah, come and be our captain, that we may fight with the children of Ammon. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Israel, to the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now when ye are in distress? All right. It's all right. Just basically focusing on the topic of our people. They don't approve of the man that was set up to do this work, the man that was set up to teach, and basically bid many to the marriage. The very man that was chosen to do the fishing for Yahweh Shemashah, to be Yahweh Shemashah's mouthpiece. Our people, they don't approve of those men. They look down on those men, and they basically try to discredit those men. And I was having a situation at work with a guy that basically he does that. He basically try to gather men to himself and followers to himself to basically discredit everything I say. But it gets to a point to where I learned, when dealing with them, you don't want to have any form of anger in your voice, because they try to use all these things against you. You see what I'm saying? The Bishop Canuck of this camp, he tell me that all the time. He said, just calm down, because they try to use it against you. So as I'm listening to them speak, I still try to speak with a form of authority, but I watch my mannerisms, my fluctuation of tone of speech, and in a moment to where you can hit them with a checkmate and hurt their feelings or whatever the case may be. In that moment, I decide to bring out a spiritual answer. You see what I'm saying? Because it's all a game of chess. Bringing out the wrong scripture or bringing out a scripture at all, you see what I'm saying? It can be a problem. So it just gets to a point to where they try to discredit you on every form, any form of being a man, a masculine man, or speaking on any form of wickedness. I walked right in a job, and he asked me a question. He said, "Hey man," he said, "what you do with my art that I sold you?" So he sold me some art. I paid $150 for some art, just to support him, because he said, "Yeah, man, just being like-minded." Because he said out his mouth when I first started working there, he was like, "Yeah, we are the true Hebrews." So I was like, "All right, cool." I went to this little art show. I bought some art, and then after I done bought the art, I done found out that he's a beta male simp. So it gets to a point where when I came in, as soon as I came in, he said, "Hey man, what happened to my art?" I said, "Oh, I put that shit out my house by a tree. I tried to give it away, but ain't nobody want it." So what I did was, I ain't say it like that. I said, I set it outside, and I put it by a tree. Whoever wanted. He said, as an artist, that's very disrespectful. But he had done did plenty. By this time, he had did so many things and try to basically discredit me in front of our coworkers, or make it seem as if that I was weird or whatever the case may be, to the point to where I basically, Salaki, there's some weird stuff going on. So he had basically did so much damage, or tried to damage me, or try to discredit me on so many forms, to where it got to a point where I was just like, well, I don't want your art in my house, and you're not the type of person that I want my children to look up to. So therefore, free art, whoever want it. So it get to a point to where I said, well, I don't like the way you think, and I don't like the manner of man that you are. So therefore, I'm not supporting your art, plain and simple. So it got to a point to where, we stopped following each other on social media, or whatever the case may be. We just stopped talking. We stopped dealing with each other on the manner. Just come to work, do your job, and go. So after that, he's basically getting mad because I put his art, the same art that I paid for, out of my house. He said, well, I don't like the things that you say. The things that you say are anti-Semitic. So when he said that, there's Edomites around and some more things. I just simply said, first of all, his name was Shem, and 8 nations of people came out of Shem. So therefore, I cannot be anti-Semitic, because I come from the line of Shem, and I just left it at that. You can't get too deep in the scriptures when it comes to these people, especially on the workplace. He's trying to trap you up to make himself seem right about his feelings, but my feelings are, automatically wrong. So after that, I just told him, well, I don't like the manner of man you are. I feel as if that you're a 30-year-old boy, so therefore I'm not supporting your art. It's just plain and simple. So it gets to a point to where he did the things that he usually do. He go around and he try to discredit me. He try to make it seem as if that I'm weird and I have a problem, or really it's just jealousy and envy, man. It's just jealousy and envy, and that's just what it is, man. I'm just gonna keep going. I ain't gonna get too deep into the situation on what happened, but the point being is the Lord chooses a man according to his will. The Lord chooses a man according to his will. And that guy's mom, his mom works there. He always say, well, my mom's an ordained minister. And I want to say about whose authority? You see what I'm saying? When did the elders and apostles, anoint your mom? When did the Lord choose your mom? I'm gonna say that first. When did Yahweh Shemashah choose your mom to be an ordained minister? You see what I'm saying? Proverbs chapter 8. Until you, O man, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. So I'm not even finna say these things. All right, cool. Your mom ordained minister. I'm going on by my day. They look down on us and they exalt the people of this world who don't even go into the Bible. They just be motivational speakers, man. You see what I'm saying? So it just gets to a point to where when a situation comes up, you got to learn how to handle things, not according to anger, but according to the wisdom that Yahweh Shemashah gave us to get ourselves to be able to move her through these situations when they come. Because a lot of people, they always come with a politically correct term that they deem is politically correct, to where they throw it at you. And whenever you say something about anything, you see what I'm saying, you become anti-sim. And the reason why he said that, because when I first started working there, we was talking about the tunnels in New York and how they sealed them motherfuckers up in a matter of hours. But if that would have been us, I ain't gonna even say that if it was us. Say if it was some Muslims down there, Muslim cultists in a tunnel, forensics 20 minutes out. You see what I'm saying? But when it came to those small hats, they didn't have forensics down there. So that means they got away with all those things that they did to those children down there. And that's all I said. And basically he anti this. And well, okay, man, I don't like the manner of man you is, so therefore I'm not supporting your shit. I don't want your shit in my house, plain and simple. 150 down the drain, it is what it is. You see what I'm saying? So it gets to a point to where I'm gonna keep going. Salakia, I'm gonna keep going. Judges chapter 11, it says, verse 7, and Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, did not ye hate me and expel me out of my father's house? And why are ye come unto me now when ye are in distress? All right, and that's just the point being. So they hate the man that Yahweh Shemashah set up. But as soon as all hell break loose, those are going to be the very same men that they look for, to where Yahweh Shemashah put them in a situation. And that very same situation is going to come by way of the people that they exalted on this earth, small hatters. Now you in a tunnel. Now your sister in a tunnel, your little brother and your mama, and you all in the tunnel, and you see how Amalek get down. You see what I'm saying? Now you're looking crazy and say so and so was talking about these things. You see what I'm saying? So those very same, in that very same time, your ordained minister mom ain't gonna know what name to call on to get you out of that situation. So you're just gonna have to go through it. You see what I'm saying? So right, it says verse 8, and the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, therefore we turn again to thee now, that thou mayest go with us and fight against the children of Ammon, and be our head over all the inhabitants of Gilead. And Jephthah said unto the elders of Gilead, if ye bring me home again to fight against the children of Ammon, and the Lord deliver them before me, shall I be your head? And the elders of Gilead said unto Jephthah, the Lord be witness between us, if we do not so according to thy works. Then Jephthah went with the elders of Gilead, and the people made him head and captain over them. And Jephthah uttered all his words before the Lord in Mizpah. So right, and that's just what it was, man. So his brothers didn't choose him. And his brothers thrusted him out. Said he wouldn't take part in the inheritance of his father. But Yahweh Yahweh chose that very same man to be captain, over the people of Israel. You see what I'm saying? So, and the Lord delivered his enemies into his hand. He made a foolish vow, which ended up getting his daughter unalive. You see what I'm saying? So a lot transpired in that story. But the point being is that the Lord chose Jephthah. It's all right. I'm at that time, and there's plenty of accounts. I just got through reading how the Lord basically chose Eli, let Eli rule, basically judge Israel for 40 years, got his sons up out of there, and then established Samuel. So, all right, let me see. This is book of Jeremiah, chapter 1 and verse 5. Behold, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. All right. No matter what walk of life you come from, if Yahweh Shem Shah chose you, he's going to cause you at the correct time to walk in that stead, walk in that lot. You see what I'm saying? Be the person who he chose you to be, who he called you to be. You see what I'm saying? So, therefore, it ain't no manner of man on this planet, on this earth, that could be able to have a mouth to speak against the will of Yahweh Shem Shah. So, people like that, you just got to shake the dust off your feet. Don't let them pull you into their semantics. You see what I'm saying? Just give them just enough to where they know when you speak is coming from a form of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Because when we have topics about wicked black women, they don't want to hear that. They call it misogyny or whatever. We have a conversation about wicked Edomites, they say get over it. When we have a conversation about wicked Jakes and gang banging Jakes, they agree with you then, because they feel as if the main form of wickedness on this earth is their very own people, as if can't nobody else. They want to forgive everybody else, but when you talk about a black man, a so-called black man, they agree 100% with you. It just shows that they beta male simps, they unlearned man, and they don't have the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah. They mama's boys. You see what I'm saying? Every conversation that they have, they mommy filled their head up with whatever. So he tried to get on a sentimental level with me. He said, so you know what my mom said about you? My mom said you're weird. So if my mom said you're weird, you're weird. You see what I'm saying? I'm like, bro, I never had a conversation with your mom. You see what I'm saying? I pass by your mom all the time. I never had a conversation with your mom. Your mom is basically agreeing with whatever narrative you spinning and basically giving her. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not subject to your thoughts, and I'm not subject to your opinion. I'm only subject to the will that Yahweh Shem Shah have chose me. That he put over me. So whatever his mindset is towards me, he's going to reveal it by way of what, a brother, or him just telling me what, putting a spirit on me to read, or whatever case may be, or however he gonna reveal it to me, whether I'm doing good or bad, and what I need to tweak and what I need to change. So that's all that really matters, man. Who cares about your mommy, your mama, you see what I'm saying, your mother? We don't care about their opinions, man. We only care about the will and the work of Yahweh Shem Shah. We have to understand that it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse, man, because as the days go by, as Jacob's trouble draws nigh on the earth, these people, as Jacob's trouble draws nigh on the earth, these people are going to wax worse. They're going to begin to blame us for everything that's going on with all these anti-Semitic bills. They're gonna begin to blame us for everything that's going on. So all right. In this account of in the book of Numbers, the Lord basically established Joshua. Just further expounding on the point. Numbers chapter 27 verse 15, it says, and Moses spake unto the Lord, saying, let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation. So right, it's Yahweh Shem Shah who set up man, who set up his shepherd to basically feed his sheep with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. It says, verse 17, which may go out before them, and which may go in before them, and which may lead them out, and which may bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord be not as the sheep which have no shepherd. And the Lord said unto Moses, take thee Joshua the son of Nun, a man in whom is a spirit, and lay thy hand upon him. And he set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and give him a charge in their sight, and thou shalt put some of thy honor upon him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. And he shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall ask counsel for him after the judgment of Urim before the Lord. And at his word shall they go out, and at his word shall they come in, both he and all the children of Israel with him, even all the congregation. And Moses did as the Lord commanded him, and he took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest, and before all the congregation, and he laid his hand upon him, and he gave him a charge as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. All right, and that's just what it was, man. The Lord gonna always set up, men over his flock to feed them with wisdom, knowledge, understanding. And Joshua basically, having the spirit of Yahweh on him at that time, drove out the enemies of our land, man. And basically gave Israel their inheritance during that time, by way of the tribes, and that's just what it was, man. So you bring this account up to those guys will call it genocide, or God ain't have to do that. Who are you to speak against the Lord? You see what I'm saying? Feeling as if that you're politically correct and you're the embodiment and the epitome on what a real man is supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? And everybody should bow down to you. You see what I'm saying? And take orders from you. You see what I'm saying? When you feel me? So it just gets to a point to where, we know who our shepherd is, man. We know where the wisdom comes from, man. It comes from Yahweh Shem Hashah. But when we be in these environments, we gotta fake the funk a little bit. You see what I'm saying? After the conversation, when you resolve the situation, a nigga try to give you a form of advice. And his advice come by way of, yeah, man, you gotta do this, and you gotta do that, and you gotta do this. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Cool, man. I hear you. Yeah, cool. Going about my day. You see what I'm saying? Going about my day with the spirit of the Lord on me. So right. I'm gonna go and get that in 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 16. Basically an account of, when Yahweh had Samuel to choose David. Basically went down the line of all his brethren. Went down the line of all his brethren, and basically David was chosen. And it wasn't according to, his outward appearance, his strength, you see what I'm saying, his stature. It was according to the spirit that was within him, given from Yahweh Shem Hashah. So right, from Yahweh. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 6 and verse 16, and when the 5 Salakia. 1 Samuel chapter 16 and verse 6, and it came to pass, verse 5, and he said, peaceably I am come to sacrifice unto the Lord. This is Samuel. Sanctify yourself and come with me to sacrifice. And he sanctified Jesse and his sons and called them to sacrifice. And it came to pass when they were come that he looked on Eliab and said, surely the Lord's anointed is before him. But the Lord said unto Samuel, look not on his countenance or on the height of his stature, because I have refused him. For the Lord seeth not as man seeth. For man looketh on the outward appearance, but the Lord looketh on the heart. So right, and that's just what it is, man. So the Lord basically refused him because he didn't have that perfect love, that perfect fear towards Yahweh Shem Hashah, or Yahweh Shem Hashah didn't choose him for whatever he saw within him. You see what I'm saying? And the scripture said David was a man after the Lord's own heart. So verse 8, then Jesse called Abinadab and made him pass before Samuel, and he said, neither hath the Lord chosen this. Then Jesse made Shammah to pass by, And he said, neither had the Lord chosen this. Again, Jesse made 7 of his sons to pass before the Lord. Then Samuel said unto Jesse, the Lord have not chosen these. And Samuel said unto Jesse, are here all thy children? And he said, there remaineth yet the youngest, and behold, he keepeth the sheep. And Samuel said unto Jesse, send and fetch him, for we will not sit down till he come hither. And he sent and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, meaning his blood showed forth through his skin. So he have I'm gonna say like a light brown baby, or a light brown kid, a child with like kind of reddish cheeks. You see what I'm saying? It says, verse 12 again, and he sent him and brought him in. Now he was ruddy, and withal of a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. And the Lord said, arise, anoint him, for this is he. Then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brethren, and the Spirit of the Lord came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. So that's just what it was, man. You know, the Lord didn't choose him based off of his stature or being mighty. He chose him based off his heart, you know. Let me get that. And it's going to be Paul speaking. It's going to be Paul speaking. For he basically, I believe he got caught up by the Judeans at that time, and it was the same. It was the same situation like Stephen, but the Lord basically delivered Paul from that situation, you know, because he was a Roman citizen. So, all right. This is Acts chapter 13. And I'm starting at verse 20. And after that he gave unto them judges about the space of 450 years unto Samuel the prophet. And afterward they desired a king, and Yahweh gave unto them Saul the son of Cis, a man of the tribe of Benjamin, by the space of 40 years. And when he had removed him, he raised unto them David to be their king, to whom also he gave testimony and said, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after mine own heart, which shall fulfill all my wills. All right, you know. And David was chosen because he was a man after the Lord's own heart, you know. And in these latter times, we get what? The sure mercies of David. You know, us hitting the highways and byways, calling the name of the Lord, and this just ain't on camera like Alizé. You see what I'm saying? Alizé basically, what he said, when I get off that camera, he always was like this. Now that he lost his credit in the Hebrew Israelite community, now he want to build up his gang, his gang shit. You see what I'm saying? Half Hoover, half holy. You know, but I'm not gonna make this lesson about him. You see what I'm saying? But right, it says, I have found David the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, which shall fulfill all my will. And that's just what it is, man. You know, we get the sure mercies of David today. You know, hitting the highways and byways, being about the Lord's business, on and off cameras. You see what I'm saying? Because in this ministry that we're a part of, man, you got to actually trim your lamp. You know, you got to, meet fruit for repentance. You know, actually apply it to your life. You see what I'm saying? Not on camera, you holy, but off camera, you're a whole nother person. You know, you got to actually try. So, right. And it says, verse 23, of this man's seed have Yahweh, according to his promise, raised unto Israel a Savior, Yahweh Shai. So, right. So, right. Ultimately, Yahweh Shai was chosen, and our people rejected him. So, of course, they're going to reject us. Of course, they're going to look down on us because they look down on Yahweh Shai. You see what I'm saying? So, no servant is greater than his master. So, when you come around these people, people at your work, your job, your family, sometimes even your own woman, you know, they're not going to see you as men of the Lord. They're going to look down on you. How is he numbered among the children of God is what they're going to say one day. You see what I'm saying? I was in a house, or I was at school, or I was wherever with a man of the Lord, with a real prophet. You know, one of the men from the ancient holy scriptures, Daniel out there somewhere, Job out there somewhere. You see what I'm saying? You might even have Samson out there somewhere in one of the Lord's camps, teaching and doing the work. You see what I'm saying? It's all right, and he might not look according to what you believe a prophet or the Lord's anointed should look like. You get what I'm saying? He's gonna look according to the will of Yahweh Shem Yahshai. You know, we all here in America, you know, going through it. It's all right. It's not. We don't care about your opinion. The Lord don't care about your opinion. It's all right. I got that. Boom. Let me get this. In the book of Psalms, chapter 139. Psalms 139 and 19. And it says, it's all right. Right. And the reason why I got this precept is because of the simple fact that, I got this precept because the simple fact that they was basically uplifting the wicked, you know, making it seem as if I'm so anti for speaking against the wickedness of these people, you know, and also this was David's words basically towards the wicked. So it gets to a point to where this is why we have so much zeal when we speak. You know, this is why we do this work, because we understand and know all things that comes with being in this truth. You know, we know and understand all things that come with being in this truth, and we accept it all. So right, this is the book of Psalms, chapter 139 and verse 19. It says, surely thou wilt slay the wicked, O Yahweh. Depart from me, therefore, ye bloody men. For they speak against thee wickedly, and thy enemies take thy name in vain. Right, and that's just what it is, man. They hate everything that stems with the name of Yahweh Shem Shah. You see what I'm saying? They hate everything that comes behind hearing Yahweh Shem Shah. Look what they say. He said, when I hear it, I know it's wicked. You see what I'm saying? It says, for they speak against thee wickedly, and thy enemies take thy name in vain. Do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee? And am not I grieve with those that rise up against thee? All right, we already done picked our side, man. You get what I'm saying? We already done picked our side, man. And we choose Yahweh Shem Shah over the world. So therefore, you know, when the Lord give us that green light, you know, it's going to be what it's going to be according to his will. So, right, and that's just what it is, man. It says, verse 22, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Right. If you're an enemy of Yahweh Shai, you are an enemy as well. That's just what it is. We fighting to be a part of the Lord's 144,000, his government, and you fighting for the world. So therefore, you are an enemy. It don't matter if you my blood brother, my cousin. You see what I'm saying? You my enemy. So right now we in the spirit of being wise as serpents and harmless as doves. You see what I'm saying? We know that we are fighting a spiritual battle. So right, verse 21, do not I hate them, O Lord, that hate thee, and am not I grieve with those that rise up against thee. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. So if you're around here saying, oh, you just got to treat all people. You got to treat all people equal. You see what I'm saying? Which the scriptures do say, if it be possible, be peaceable with all men. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not finna sit right here and just be friends or be talking to and hanging out with a nigga that's a part of that community. You see what I'm saying? Now my sons might think this is okay. You feel what I'm saying? No. You know, you know what I'm saying? It's all right. Hanging out with no jolly ass niggas, man. So verse 22, it says, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O Yahweh, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And that's just what it is, man. You know, so one day the Lord going to look at, you know, all the wicked of our nation, and he's going to say, depart from me. You know, I never knew thee. You see what I'm saying? You was out there with your garment on, but Yahweh Shem Yahshai, he didn't know you. You didn't physically get in tune and make yourself ready for this marriage. in the proper way. So the Lord don't know you. You know, me on the other hand, or I ain't gonna even say, I'm the brethren. You know what I'm saying? The reason why I said me, because I know my prayers, you know, that I have towards Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah, and I lay it all on the table. You know, you can't hide anything from the Lord. So that sin that you done did, you know, hella years ago, you know, that you never, you know what I'm saying? You know, you can lay it on the table and you can tell the Lord every single day, Lord, I'm sorry for, you know, I apologize. Please forgive me for my sins, thoughts and iniquities and all I did before I knew thee. You know what I'm saying? And actually take accountability. 2/3 of our people, they don't have they can't take accountability. They feel as if they ain't wrong and that the Lord should just accept them how they is. You know, and they feel as if that actually turning to the Lord and changing their life around, they feel as if that is lame. They care what people think. They care what people think about them. You know, what people gonna say. So they can't fully give their life to the Lord. You know, that's why, I'm just going ahead and keep going. It says, verse 22, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O Yahweh, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. You see what I'm saying? To actually know the Lord, you have a wicked thought, Lord. That was a wicked thought. Father, please forgive me. Please forgive me for that, Lord, and put your thoughts within me, Lord, and help me. You know, help me become a better person every day so I can be better for your sheep. It says, verse 24, and see if there be any wicked way in me and lead me in the way everlasting. It's all right. It's all right. And that's the perfect mindset to have, because it keeps you from making a wrong step. You know, so now you can walk by faith, not by sight. It keeps you from making a wrong step because you're in tune with the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah every single day, everywhere. You get what I'm saying? So therefore, you don't have to worry about tomorrow. You don't have to worry about next month, you know, because the Lord Yahweh Bashim Al-Shah going to be with you even then. You know, we just worry about today and keeping the spirit on us today, because he taking it from niggas every single day. You know, nigga talking about something, you're going to see some gang shit, some hood shit. You see what I'm saying? Falling out the truth. Saying the Lord got you on another path the whole time, nigga, you done lost the oil. Falling out the truth. You know, now, what the Lord, what the elders say, what the elders say, damn. Now, he said in the lesson earlier, I forgot, basically he ain't got no chains on. He buck wild. You see what I'm saying? So right, it says, verse 24, and see if there be any wicked way in me and lead me in the way everlasting. So we want to be led in a way everlasting. You get what I'm saying? Let me get this right quick, you know, because once again, expounding on the topic, they hate the man that was chosen. But the man that was chosen to do this work were called from the beginning of time, predestinated. So this is Ephesians chapter 1 and verse 3. Blessed be the Lord, blessed be the power and Father of our Lord, Yahweh Shah Mashiach, who have blessed us with all spiritual blessings in heavenly places in Hamashiach, according as he have chosen us in him before the foundation of the world, that we should be holy and without blame before him in love. So right, he chose us from the foundation of the world. You know, those that was written in the Lamb's Book of Life, you know, was already predestinated to be written in that book. Way from the beginning, where it says, when the Lord was making everything, you know, when Yahweh created Yahweh Shai, Yahweh Shai created everything else. Those were the first spirits created. It says, verse 5, having predestinated us unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai HaMashiach to himself, according to the good pleasure of his will, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he had made us acceptable and beloved. So right, you know, that grace that Yahweh Bashim Shai basically give us on this side. But we still don't take it and basically use it for maliciousness sake, like 2/3 of our people. But predestinated us, man, unto the adoption of children by Yahweh Shai Mashiach to himself, according to the good will, to the good pleasure in himself, to the praise of the glory of his grace, wherein he had made us accepted in the beloved. All right, we accepted in Yahweh Shai, and that's all that matters. So we don't care about the thoughts of a carnal man. It says, in whom we have redemption through his blood, the forgiveness of sins according to the riches of his grace. All right. All right. Only thing we care about is keeping our eyes on the prize, and the prize being Yahweh Shai. It says, verse 8, wherein he have abounded towards us in all wisdom and prudence, having made known unto us the mystery of his will, according to his good pleasure, which he had purposed in himself. So, right, we know and we understand the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. So, therefore, when you try to come with your carnal or worldly wisdom, it gets debunked. It gets debunked. We don't have to be subject to your thoughts or your thoughts towards us or your opinions. Yeah, my mom said, fuck your mother. You see what I'm saying? Who cares about what your mama think? You see what I'm saying? Your mama thinks she a damn ordained minister. You see what I'm saying? So your mother's opinion don't matter, bro. So right, it says, having made known unto us the mystery of his will according to his good pleasure, which he had purposed in himself. And that's just what it is, man. We understand the will of Yahweh Shema Shai. We have become friends of Yahweh Shema Shai. What it says, he will do nothing but reveal his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So now we're able to look within this book, and break down Revelation chapter 11 to you. We're able to understand and break down Revelation chapter 13 for you. But you don't want to eat, it's all good. We eat it ourselves. You ain't gonna, if you ain't choose Yahweh Shai 2,000 years ago, you're not gonna choose us. You ain't gonna choose him today. Let me rephrase that. If you ain't choose Yahweh Shai 2,000 years ago, you're not gonna choose him today. And that's just what it is. You wasn't predestinated to. You see what I'm saying? And your mama ain't got it. So right, verse 10, that in the dispensation of the fullness of times he might gather together in one all things in Hamashiach, both which are in heaven and which are on earth, even in him, in whom also we have attained an inheritance, being predestinated according to the purpose of him who worketh all things after the counsel of his own will. So right, we're gonna receive our inheritance for doing his work. And that day you're gonna say, how was he numbered among the children of Yahweh Shema Shai? How? You see what I'm saying? Only thing you saw was a Clark Kent version of the very same man who you try to talk down on, not knowing that man had the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai on him the whole time. You see what I'm saying? And if he would have rebuked you at the gate, you would have hated him. Anyways, so that's what it is. So, all right, we're going to receive our inheritance in Yahweh Shai. And our inheritance ain't coming by way of this world. You feel me? So it really ain't going to matter. Even though we might get a little leaving Egypt pardon gift, if it be his will. So right, it says verse 12, that we should be to the praise of his glory, who first trusted in Hamashiach, and whom ye also trusted, after that ye heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, and whom also after that ye believe, you were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise. All right, being sealed. Having the Father's name and his Son's name in your forehead, soon to come. But right now, doing the work and believing, having faith on those names, praying and understanding that Yahweh Shema Shai can get you through whatever situation. Trimming your lamp, becoming a new person. It says, verse 14, which is the earnest of the inheritance unto the redemption of the purpose possession unto the praise of his glory. So, all right, we're going to receive our inheritance, coming out of this second Egypt. The Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is going to set us in our lands again, and bless us, and be with us. It's all right. Never being able to be plucked out of our land again. It's all right. Right. Being subject to your thoughts. It just we're not subject to your thoughts or your opinion, man. You get what I'm saying? You have your thoughts and opinions against brothers across the four corners of the earth and just feel as if that we supposed to submit to it. You know, I have my thoughts and opinions towards you, and now I'm wrong. Oh, you just wrong. You get what I'm saying? So it gets to a point where why even go back and forth with you? You chose your side. You chose your side, and we chose ours. It's the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 3 and verse 1. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hands of Yahweh, and there shall no torment touch them." You know, that's just what it is. You know, we believe that, man. We believe that wholeheartedly. So it gets to a point to where we don't have to be subject to your imaginations. It says, "But the souls of the righteous are in the hands of Yahweh, and there shall no torment touch them. And the sight of the unwise, they seem to die, and their departure is taken for misery." It says, "And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace." All right, that's just what it is, man. No matter if we in bondage, you see what I'm saying? Well, gotta go out by way of Jacob's trouble. We're gonna be good no matter what. You know? It says, "And they're going from us to be utter destruction, but they are in peace. For though they be punished in the sight of man, yet is their hope full of immortality." It's all right. You might look at a man of the Lord and just think he is a simple nigga because of whatever situation he going through at that moment. But our hope is full of immortality. You get what I'm saying? We know and understand that one day we're gonna be the very same people that you try to put, you know what I'm saying? You call it art or comic books or, you know, all these characters that, you know, they basically, you know, try to create a character that be overpowered, you know, but our forefathers was overpowered, you know, taking down the heathen, being mighty men. You get what I'm saying? And this ain't no gimmick. See what I'm saying? You a slapper down a character that another man created, another man's idea on a board, and then had the audacity to color it the same color he colored it. You see what I'm saying? And sell it for X amount of dollars and call yourself an artist. Now all of a sudden you feel as if that you the embodiment of the epitome of what a masculine man's supposed to be. You see what I'm saying? It's a bug out is what you is. It says, "For they be punished in the sight of man, yet is their hope full of immortality. And having been a little chastised, they shall be greatly rewarded. For Yahweh proved them and found them worthy for himself." And that's just all that matters. You know, we're a little chastised, but Yahweh Shemashah proved us, and he found us worthy to himself. Just like he chose Jephthah, just like he chose Joshua, just like he chose David, Samuel, and all the prophets in the Bible. He proved us and found us worthy for himself. That's why we get out here and do the work and call on the name of Yahweh Shemashah. And we ain't gonna stop, Lord willing. He keep the spirit on us to do it to the end. It's all right. It says, verse 6, "As gold in the furnace have he tried them and received them as a burnt offering." It's all right. It's all right. You had a piece of gold in your hand, but it was covered by a little bit of dirt, and you proceeded to be a dirt rock. You should have dusted off. You see what I'm saying? You dusted off, you'd have found out you had that old fear in your hand. You get what I'm saying? But you wanted the 2/3 of our people, they like what they see. Or the new fake diamonds be Moissanite diamonds, be fake. You know what I'm saying? That's what our people want. They don't want the real. They don't want the Yahweh Shai. They want the fake shit. It says, verse 7, "In the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble." So, all right, we're going to be the new comic. You see what I'm saying? You're going to be putting one of us on your comic board in the midst of Jacob's trouble, because we know you're going to take the chip. You know, they already said it. As a matter of fact, they definitely said they were going to take that chip, as a matter of fact. Mine stuck in Babylon. So it gets to a point where we're going to be you're going to be drawing us. You know, and then when you die here and get hit with that missile in the kingdom, You know, we're going to be the men that you look up to. You know, be a brother's son. You know, so it gets to a point to where if we endure to the end, if we make it to the end, you know, our people are going to know, first and foremost, Yahushua is going to be greatly exalted, and everybody's going to praise Yahushua, and we're going to be joint heirs with him. And our people are going to know that we stood so stiffly for the name of Yahweh Shemashah. It says, in the time of their visitation, they shall shine and run to and fro like sparks among the stubble, like the flash. It says, verse 8, they shall judge the nation and have dominion over the people, and their Lord shall reign forever. And that's just what it is, man. We ain't going to be subject to these nations being the tail and being subject to simple niggas' opinions and thoughts. You get what I'm saying? It says, verse 9, they that put their trust in him shall understand the truth, and such as be faithful in love shall abide with him, for grace and mercy is to his saints, and he have care for his elect. And that's just what it is, man. The Lord cared for the very same man that you casted out, that you thrusted out, that you talked down on, that you took so lightly, and that you tried to exalt yourself over, man. I pray that Les was edifying. Shalom on to the next.